Awesome. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to DappRadar stream. And today we are here with the awesome lads of Ember Sword. Welcome, Thor. Welcome, Max. How you guys doing?
Thor, want to go first?
Yeah, doing wonderful here. And just ready and hyped for the stream, and was just vibing a little bit to this intro music, I must admit.
yeah. It's a bit dreamy, right?
I was getting into the groove. Yeah.
Awesome. So, as a quick introduction, Thor, can you tell our audience who you are, what you do at Bright Star Studios, what your role is in the development of Ember Sword?
Yes, I would love to. Hello, my name is Thor. I'm the lead community manager at Embersword. Very fortunate to have that position. I love it. It was very much a dream come true when I joined Embersword on the journey 2 years ago. Time passes fast. I am very much all my life been involved in games and esports, in all kind of jobs and activities you can do. Between casting and competing and developing games and helping with communities in games. I love being here. I love being here tonight. As a community manager, it is, I would say it's about focusing on the players. It's about being the advocate for the players, listening to the players, tuning in, trying to tune into the players, sometimes specific groups within players, gaming guilds, influencers, sometimes listening to some specific players within the community who are ambassadors. But it's also the other way around, because it's a two-way ecosystem, right? It's also bringing things to the players, bringing content and entertaining, sometimes even education on how it is to build games, how it is to build Ember Sword. And all of that has to do with Max, so that's maybe a perfect segue, because it's also about bringing developer presence to the community, right? And I am so lucky to be able to facilitate that, and that's one of my favorite things.
I bet it's my turn. Hi guys, my name is Max. I'm game director here at Bright Star Studio, and basically making all the meets and right, like ends meet, or sorry for saying this, but again, like art should be compatible with the lore. Lore should be helping gameplay, and I'm basically the guardian of it. So making sure that all of the vision is straight to the point, that we are making the best memories for our players. My background is mainly a production one, so I used to be a producer for more than 12 years, and I haven't been doing only the game dev. I am originally from e-commerce and banking, but games were always my life, and that's why I ended up in here. Was always interested in game design, making some education for myself, and I'm very excited to be on the stream, to be honest, because I always like to speak with people to see their reactions and provide a little bit more information in Embersword.
Awesome. Well, people watching, meet Thor and Max. Great to have you guys here. Now, Ember Sword has been around for quite some time, and you already had a few playtests in the past 1.5 years. For people who don't know yet, can you tell us, like, what is Ember Sword all about? Why is this special? Why is this project so special?
You want me to go, Thor, or
I think you should go ahead, and then I will add to it. Let's do that.
First of all, for me, it's not only the things that we are saying constantly, that we will be like our new site of an MMOs and whatnot, but also importance is that we're making it very accessible. So it's based in web, right? So like you just only need to have a device, click on the link, and here you go. If we are referring to the gameplay, what's make it special, I'd say that we want to rethink and basically bring back all of the things that making the social so thrilling, so helping each other and whatnot. So we're really thinking that players is the most important for the game. If you are having the player who is interested and is interacting with the other player, that's truly making it a multiplayer game and being like exciting game. So those are things, in my opinion, that are making Ember Sword special. Thor, maybe you have something to add to this?
Well, first of all, I love you to hear you say that the players are so important, because that's obviously why I love having this job so much. So I just always love you say that when you say that, Max. I think all of Embersword is all of that to me as well. I think primarily I have been involved in MMOs, especially back in, I don't know if you can actually call it the old days now, but I think you can. But like back in the old days of World of Warcraft and Guild Wars and games like that. And I think one of the things that intrigued me about Embersword is that there's all this new tech and all these new exciting, Max just talked about design changes and all these interesting things of bringing these pieces together in a new interesting way. But there's also a lot of callback back to the old ways and the old social ways of playing MMO, which was always some of the ways that interested me the most about MMOs. So for me, it's also a little bit about rekindling that love for MMOs. And then, of course, Embersword is a completely, especially when we launched the game, community-driven game. That, to me, is exciting, scary, and incredibly important. Yes.
Yeah, so talking about stuff being community driven, like if you look at something like World of Warcraft, which I assume many people watching and familiar with gaming, they know about World of Warcraft, and that one was always sure. There's an economy, there's people trading, or there's an auction house, but it's a very developer. Like the story is coming from a developer. Like they decide which chapter, what war is going to happen. When players fully dictate the economy, like things can change. Things can, weird situations can come into existence. Can you elaborate? Maybe there's something for you, Thor. Can you elaborate a bit on that? Like, how do you guys envision that?
Yeah, exactly. I think that's a good framing for that question, because obviously I don't want to speak on behalf of specific design implements from. I think I would let that up to Max. But how we always envisioned it when we talk about it and look into it is that, I mean, we're already trying to doing right. We have annual community competitions where the community drives certain competitions, even elements that are brought to streams, competitions driven by the different nations who fight together. So it's pretty much just the further embodiment of that mentality, right? We just can take it one step further when it's actually able to be done in game, right? So it's about guilds clashing together. It's about players fighting. It's about ambassadors and guilds and influencers probably driving some of these fighting because they own important pieces of land, right? Or they have influence in certain places, and then suddenly they can either create something that suddenly draws in a lot of players from different angles of the game, or maybe some community manager or game master creates something and drops something, right? Maybe you can take over from here, Max.
Yeah, I think that I will. And what I want also to add to this is that the social bonds is basically dictated by the players themselves, right? So we're not rethinking the genre, right? But we want to leave this sandboxy feeling is that like, okay, adventure is out there. What if I try to do it in the different kind of setups? So all of the features, like we were talking before about roguelification of our dungeons, for example, that kind of adjusts to with whom you are going, with what is the setup of your party. For me, it's really important to keep that in mind also, which touches the economics, right? So with making sure that you need that guy and you need to speak with others to basically succeed. You can try it solo, but we really believe that the key thing of it is simply the player interaction. That's why the majority of features will be aimed for this and to support it. I want to answer one question from Made After Death. And for now, we are not talking about creating monsters in this game. However, we really believe that part of the skins or things like this, like cosmetics, could be indeed done by the community. But for this, we probably will be having a separate stream. So let's not derail from today.
So, but now I'm going to do a follow-up question to that. So I can imagine, like having a guild having their own unique tabard or something along those lines, a shield that's designed by the guild's design guy.
Yeah, totally. And I cannot tell you all the details because basically then the board will gonna decimate me. But we are thinking about several features that could be even extending this. We want to give you opportunity to stand out, however, at the same part be a part of the community, right? So we don't want to make everybody special. That's a problem for me in current MMOs. But being yourself is definitely will be the point in here.
That's cool. So now let's take a step back. Like, Embersword is an MMO. We've all played MMOs on our PC, maybe some people on consoles. Sure, there's some mobile stuff, some mobile MMO stuff, but it's very often very different. However, you guys are making a game that works in browser on any device, and if you look at the gameplay, it's literally like, it feels like what I know as an MMO. It's not like a stripped down mobile game. Like, and this is probably a question more for Max than for Thor, but like, how?
Well, obviously that our focus is on the PC, right? And we want, first of all, it to be great experience on your personal computer, but we are always remembering that we have to support some other devices. That's why also the controls, the UIs, we try to make it in a way that, like, in future we can use it for the other devices too, and like that the control schemes or some other things could be supported. So for example, we are limiting the skills, right? So if we will be having like the very long bars of your skills or ingredients that you're having in World of Warcraft, it will be simply impossible to play on your tablet or phone, right? That's why we're also putting this limitation, so to get broader audience in the end.
Yeah, and like, pure technically, like, having the same game run on PC as it does on mobile. Of course, like, mobile devices are becoming stronger. I mean, we've all seen the Apple reveal where they have Assassin's Creed, whatever, like, running on the new iPhone. But still, like, it's quite amazing. Like, from a device that I mainly know as playing simple match 3 games. Now running full-blown MMORPGs together with hundreds, maybe even thousands of people going into raids, socializing on the market square, etc. So, can you guys take me back roughly a year to the last playtests? What did you do back then? And maybe before we talk about what Embersword was like back then, can we take a look maybe at some of the footage from the, where is it? From the, so keep in mind, everybody watching, this is footage from the pre-alpha demo from last year, 2022. Let's take a quick look. Okay, the sound was very loud. My apologies for that.
Wow, that took me back. Wow.
What changed since then?
Where to start?
Yeah, I mean, where to start? We are in an entire different place, or not entirely different place, but we are a different place in Fanabus, and it's actually just below where we were before. I don't know if you want to say more, Max, but we are a different place, right, to begin with.
Also, we added new weapons.
Yeah.
We changed the things in art, and also important to say, and this probably a huge surprise for the ones who are with us. This playtest will be actually about the dungeon. So this one will be about where you are gathering and grouping up together with your buddies, and you are trying to solve the riddles and defeat all the enemies that we will be having. For me, the most important part that we realize right now what are the most important things that we want to change. And I'm talking obviously about controls of your character, camera, and moreover, the feeling of combat. And that's our main focus right now. So yeah, I say that a lot of things changed, or maybe you want to mention some specific.
I think that makes, from a game development perspective, I think that makes a lot of sense, because getting that core gameplay loop and getting the feedback from players about that. I think from a community perspective, what really changed from the last playtest to this is, you could play together before, but now you can group up together. This is actually, I want to say, the beginning of PvE, because you can go, as Max said, into a dungeon together, fight together with other players from your region, and we will have more servers and higher CCU, meaning you can play not only in, we had players who are fighting through it, even with horrible ping last time, but now you can play all over the world with way better ping, and you can play with your, for example, Brazilian guild friends, and you can compete against other regions. So that is the big change for me. We'll have leaderboards with regions fighting against each other, guilds fighting against each other. And I also want to say, maybe there's a little bit of like PvP included, pseudo PvP in that, because you want to compete, you want to be the best one to clear this dungeon, right? So it's not direct PvP, but I know there's already some guilds wanting to fight up against each other.
I'm pretty sure that there will be like people trying to be world's first, or like having the fastest clearance,
exactly,
that type of stuff. Would that be something that you keep track of, like that you, and also like
for 100%, Robert? Yes.
Also in the end game, like when Embersword is fully out, like world's first will get we'll get a badge, and like the leaderboard leaders of the week or month or year or whatever will be glowing in the dark. But I don't know, I just make stuff up. But
no, exactly, stuff like that, right? I think it's always about bragging rights and being immortalized as a player, right? And we are exactly looking into stuff like that, how we, through our community platforms or through specific, I don't want to spoil it, but like stuff we can do with giving you almost achievement, like, right, that you can use to brag and immortalize that. Yeah, exactly, I was that person back in 2023, right?
Yeah, no, exactly. And talking of bragging rights, I mean, back at, like when the Xbox 360 launched, and now I sound like an old man, but like the introduction of trophies, gamer score, achievements on Steam, now that added such a strong element of, as you said, bragging rights. I mean, it's showing what you've achieved, and owning that, and being able to really claim and never let go, even if you guys would, in 10 years or 20 years, would stop Embersword, you would still have the badge of being the world's first to do whatever. And I think that type of promise is very, it's amazing. So Max, you mentioned you're going underground. Let's talk about the Ultra Deep. Maybe before we do, let's show the trailer of the Ultra Deep.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Here we go. That was awesome.
Thank you.
Really, it's a really cool trailer. But the Ultra Deep, what is this playtest all about?
I want to start from the lore perspective and imagine a hidden lab somewhere very, very, very deep, as it comes from its name, where very enigmatic experiments were happening, and basically the ones that you cannot really call that they are very good ones because they are mutating things that could go. And well, this whole dungeon lab before had a terrible catastrophe. So basically, this whole accelerator it exploded, meaning that the main guy who you just seen, the main boss, Shock, he became first of all like transmuted to something else. Got some really evil power, and well, it's a really dangerous place. We also wanted to be feeling as like you've seen a parts of it before, right? Because it's a dungeon, it's a little bit dark in there, it's dangerous. You're meeting quite a challenge in there, but in the end, we still wanted to add our flair, on top of that, plus also to show our amazing artworks. So yeah, let's say it's a dungeon with our vision how it should work and look like.
What I really liked about the trailer is that I immediately recognized the type of boss fight elements, like now the whirlwinds, the area of effects you need to avoid, the what are they called? Those laser shooting, flying fish.
Jovians, yeah, exactly.
Yes,
Yeah,
those.
Jovians,
Yes, yeah. You did an amazing David Attenborough video about that one. Or
Thank you so much.
like we will take a look at that one in a bit. But I really like to see those different elements. That MMORPG fans have come to love, have come to recognize. But now, seeing a Web3 project such as you guys fully embracing those that type of nostalgia. So people who want to play, who are like, okay, this sounds interesting. I'm curious. Like, what can I do to get access to this?
Should I take that, Max?
Yeah, please do.
It's actually like this is an open test. Obviously, there will be a limited amount of players who can play at once in each of our servers. So there might be a queue depending on when you play, but everybody can play. So, and I don't know, maybe the dates have passed down there, but it's from the 27th to the 29th of October. And the only thing you have to do is go into our website, embersword.com, and just make your account, and you're basically ready. Like, you should probably pick your cool username as well. But then you're ready to go. And I mean, if you want to prep a little bit, then you should maybe connect your wallet if that's what you want. Check that you've migrated to IMX. You can also, if you're more game focused, go onto our Discord server, join it, read up about the lore. There's more than Max just talked about here. Read up about tips and tricks from the developers. But if you just want to be ready to play, go on to our website. It's really easy, actually.
And what has changed in this new alpha test compared to the previous one? You guys already mentioned the focus on controls. Looking at the trailer, I got and comparing the 2022 one with this new one, I got the feeling that the camera is a bit more closer to the characters.
That is correct.
What else?
I would take this one, and actually a lot of things in regarding the difficulty of the fights themselves, because the one trailer that we were talking about from a year ago, and even the one that we had in the spring, we were not having this feeling of the progression that basically difficulty raises up, and I think that's the best part of Ultra Deep that I like. So let's say the initial challenge that you get in the dungeon with your first steps is quite an average, right? But once you're reaching towards the end of it, and I want to say that's my little baby Shock, he killed a lot of players, and that's what I like a lot. So he possesses a true challenge that you do expect from a dungeon. Moreover to this is like, as you mentioned before, Robert, avoiding some AoEs, making sure that you're coherent with the group. We also introduced weapons that are basically supporting other roles, like sensor that could heal you and could heal the rest of the group or protect it. Ranged weapons also. So I believe for some of the some of our players, it will be really interested to try with. So yeah, I would mention those.
It's interesting because now you mention like this focus on healing, ranged weapons, etc. But as correct me if I'm wrong, but as far as I know, Ember Sword is classless, right? I mean,
That's right, correct.
So how does as somebody who's still very focused in the I'm a hunter, I'm a priest, like how do I need to wrap my head around it, and how do I change my role? Can I also change mid dungeon? I'm like, okay, I don't want to be a healer anymore. Let's go DPS.
For now, we actually, because of the balancing reasons only, sorry guys, we're still only in alpha, we are not letting you do so. But it will be from this moment on, you will be able to change your weapon, meaning your play style completely, after you finish the combat. So like within the combat, you cannot do so because again, it could add some of the things to the power play, bring in meta, right? We don't want this. However, yeah, we really want it to be like, if you want to go with 4 guys with just swords without any healer, we'll try to balance out and make sure that you are able to bring up some other stuff like potions or maybe some other items that will help you be on the run, or simply tank and heal by damage mainly, and just slapping all of those bosses.
That's very cool. That can make up for some really dynamic gameplay. Like, what would, and this is, I didn't even write this down. This is just me personally asking. What would be the difference between a healer and a good healer?
I say, first of all, as for all healers, and I mean, I used to be a healer in World of Warcraft for many, many, many years, probably more than a decade. I'd say positioning and knowing what you want to do, right? And in what position your team is. Because as healers, players might try out exactly the sensor that I mentioned before. They will probably spot that they can deal a tremendous amount of damage if they're just focused on this role. And we always want to leave you a choice as a player. So do you want to heal? Do you want to deal damage? Do you want to do both? Maybe you will be a savior of your team, not actually healing, but dealing this, remaining 1,000 damage that kills the boss. So good healer for me is the guy who knows his weapon of choice and acts accordingly.
I actually want to just quickly, if that's okay, give an example, because I was recording something today, actually, with a game developer and some other amazing guys, something that's actually coming out very soon, so stay tuned for that. But I was getting hit by something from Shock, and I probably would have died, but our amazing healer, this game developer, while he was doing damage and throwing debuffs down, threw a healing zone on me, and only because of that, I actually survived the impact from Shock with a fraction of my HP. And I was a tank, so I drank my health potion, came back up, and charged into the fray. And I mean, I would have died. So that's a good healer to me. Reading the room, right, and being ready.
Yeah, exactly. I love those types of dynamics, and especially like if you guys say, okay, you can switch, not mid fight, but like preparation of a fight, you can switch depending on the situation. Yeah, that's very cool. That's very cool. Can we go a bit deeper? No pun intended. Into the cave. Can you tell us a bit about the design process of the cave, and tell us a bit about like a cave is normally a dungeon, or at least in World of Warcraft. Again, typical example, but it generally is one route. There's no backtracking, hardly any backtracking. How are you taking care of the story of the dungeon?
I would start with lore, basically. We discuss what should be happening in there and why players should be interested to simply go in there, why it should be exciting. So we were thinking about different routes, and indeed, in the final version of the game, you will be having like multiple routes. You can each reach the end room. But in this scenario, we made it, well, not as mazy as it could be, a little bit straightforward, but our main goal was to just keep it interesting. We are it's a spoiler actually anyways, but like we will be changing from caverns to lab and whatnot. So we want to change first of all decorations, so you feel that you're actually in like something that really looks like a lab in deep below. And also we spend a lot of time on the things like how it should look like, what should be the lighting of it, what should be the whole perception, and even like the ambience of it. So first of all, we were thinking about immersion and lore, as I mentioned before. And secondly, it's simply the position of interest points. So we balance out on the things where players can regroup, or they have to be in an active phase to defeat the bosses, for example.
That's very cool. And now I'm a player. I'm playing the playtest in 2 weeks. I have feedback, or I like. How can I help to shape the future of Embersword?
I think I am. If I'm pretty sure that directly after you have completed a session, you will be asked to do a survey. So first of all, that would be a tremendous help to give your, most direct feedback. But we're always interested for the feedback. While we are playing that weekend, there will be a specific channel on Discord for the Ultra Deep, which is both for bugs and feedback, or like just questions. Maybe the FAQ can answer those questions, but we can help you direct you to those answers. I would say if it's not directly the survey, I would say go to our Discord or Reddit and just post your feedback. We would love it.
And also just play it, because we put a lot of triggers that are checking out what was your damage, how much
True.
damage did you get, and whatnot. So we just really want you guys to have fun and be honest with us and say like, okay, this moment I really like, but this was like maybe reconsider it and whatnot. Be honest and play it, guys. That would be the best.
And so to the guy we are fighting in oh god, now I forgot the name. The Deep.
The
Deep. Yeah, the Deep. Yeah.
The guy who we're fighting is a crazy scientist, and you guy the Ultra Deep. Oh my god, yeah. Is a crazy scientist, and you guys have made a video about him. People watching this will be a bit meta, because now you're seeing Thor live, and now you'll get a video of Thor talking about. So this is a bit Inception. Start turning that thing to make sure you're in reality, and we will check out the crazy scientist. Here we go.
The talk today really need to start with Solarwood. Solarwood is known for many great things. Its almost unrivaled knowledge of Phanabus and what lies beyond, and Burkholder's academy. Vibrant civilization. But in dark whispers and hushed tones deeper within the nation, other things are being spoken about. As we know, Professor Schalk, the professor of chemistry, oversaw many of these experiments. Unspeakable experiments performed in the name of science and knowledge on innocent beings and with dark ambitions in mind. It is only understandable that, as a result of the catastrophe and being locked up in Ultra Deep, what you will find down there are men and women of science changed by the toxins and the chemistry of their labs, driven crazy.
It's really cool. And by the way, people watching, you could actually, so that trailer also showed a bit of the interior of the lab. It was also kind of, and the dungeons where people were held captive. So that's also pretty cool.
I love the laughter at the end. That always gets me. I love that.
Yeah, it's a bit like a maniac.
Yeah, but, and you can hear while you're playing, you'll be fighting them, and they'll just be having apparently a very fun time.
Yeah. They are awaiting their imminent death, and they're just laughing. So, what is it that you guys hope to get from this playtest? I mean, what needs to be the end result of this playtest, and what would you guys, yeah.
For me, it's really simple. I really want people to play it and say that we are on the good direction. So more or less in surveys, in the Discords, and all of the channels that we have, this would be good. And moreover, I want more than what we did good. I want to hear what we did bad and what actually people are lacking of. So the more the merrier, right? Feedback. That's my main goal out of this playtest.
I wanna second that just quickly, because even last time we got amazing feedback. I mentioned some of it already, but for example, a lot of players said that they would have loved to play more, but they were in South America or Southeast Asia. So just based on that feedback alone, for example, we have ramped up the servers this time around. And I'm pretty sure that a lot of the movement and controls that we're looking into now are also based on a lot of the feedback. If I'm correct, Max, I can see exactly. So we would love more of that feedback, right? As Max said, specific feedback, not just what you like, but what you don't like and what you would love to see in the future. I think from a community perspective, this is a really big test, because I've said this is a dungeon. There is a leaderboard. Often some of the very best players in the game emerge very early. Not all of them, but some of them very early in the community. So I think this is really one of the tests where we will start to see, again, those bragging rights, but those really serious and really hardcore players emerge and show that they are super, super good, and they want to be very relevant. It's not the only way you can be relevant, right? There's lore and there's land ownership, but I think we're going to see some very competitive players emerge in this test specifically.
Yeah, I remember in the last playtest, I don't know which level I was, but I was nowhere close to the people running around me. I was like, oh my god, okay, I need to step up my game here, because this is ridiculous. Personally, like, I will probably not be competing with those guys. I tend to be a bit of a gatherer. Always never on the tank, always on the support / heal side of things. Automatically, like crafting, gathering, those things pop up. What are the roles that you will, let's say, not facilitate, such a stupid word, but that you will support during the playtest? Can I be a crafter? Can I be a gatherer? So I gather stuff, craft stuff, so other people can go deeper into the dungeon. Is that an option?
Well, I don't want to smart ass this question, to be honest, because you obviously can gather some of the trophies that your opponents will be dropping. We will be having a very first glimpse on how the crafting works, but unfortunately, no, you will be not having like the full crafter experience. I hope Torde will not kill me for this. Next one test, though, probably will be having all of those things, because we are focused on exactly this part right now. Because as we said before, crafting should be our core, right?
Yeah.
And this should feel good. And we actually want to support people who want to play this role, who want to say like, you know what, I'm happy on my farm and I'm just baking bread, and that's the thing that I just want to have out of this game. This will be fully supported, but a little bit later, guys. Please stay tuned with us.
Yeah, in the earlier playtest, it obviously had limited content. Do you have any numbers on the amount of people that reached the end game of the playtest, and how you adjusted to that for the ultra deep?
Should I start, Max? Yeah. It's very different, right? Because last time it was more open world, so to say, in that part of Solarwood, and there were some elite creatures. And by the way, call out, some guys thought they were bosses. If you thought those elite creatures were bosses, you are in for a treat in the Ultra League, because those guys are bosses. The other guys were just stronger enemies. They were not bosses. But so it's very hard to compare, right? Because it's a bit different. It was very easy to reach the end game, relatively easy, and do the last quest in the last places. It's not this time. Last time, I would say, even with a 30-minute session, thousands of people, unique people joined, unique players. A lot of players went directly back in again, like directly back in again. Over 162 countries took part of the last playtest. I mean, we hope to build that success again with even more players, right? Because we have higher CCU, more servers. I don't think, Max, you might kill me for this, but I think some will not complete the dungeon. Some might not complete the dungeon.
That's true. You will not, because that also the part of I was speaking today about the raise of the difficulty. So we want majority of players be able to see it through, but it will be only up to their skill if they're gonna beat Shock or not. Because even for developer team, sometimes he is challenging. We really wanted to put on the things that we love from the MMOs, like you already mentioned, like World of Warcraft, like Lost Ark even. So yeah, maybe not all of you guys will be able to finish it, but we believe it's completely fine.
Yeah, because you said Shock killed a lot of players. Shock killed a lot of devs as well. Yeah, exactly. Let's just state that. Yeah.
But do you have like different levels of Shock? So you have like let's say I'm a level 10 player together with my level 10 friends. I will get a 1-star Shock. However, if I'm level 30, I will get a 3 or 4-star Shock. Does it work like that? Like the levels
Robert,
of levels of Shock
that's the
complexity?
best question. Yeah, that's the best question. Not for now, but it will. So like in the final version of the game, we exactly think that roguelikes do it the best. They do it usually in the single player, but like you can try out Darkest Dungeon, just go into the Darkest Dungeon. Probably you'll be not able to win, but at least you have the full capability to do so. And we also want our bosses to adapt to the level of the players going in. But again, sorry guys, we're in alpha, so we have to postpone this system a little bit.
Okay, cool. So you guys already mentioned land. So this is a Web3 game. There is player ownership. People can craft, own the weapons that they have. There is also land. Now, I know land's not part of the upcoming playtest, but can you guys perhaps tell us what the land's all about, how it will be used, and why it is important for the Embersword world?
Tor, if you don't mind, I will start. We want land be not only the part of the game, but it also should be unique to the player who basically owns it. And we never wanted to give any advantage to the player who paid us versus the one who is just a free-to-play player. So land will help others. We want people to develop things like, imagine that you can build a tavern on top of your land plot, that the other adventurers can go in, have some feasts, maybe some buy even equipment and whatnot. And this will also be like a team effort. So the good landlord in our minds is basically supporting the community and helping to make his land prosper, and basically other players to visit it. They have to spend some attention to it. But also, as I said, your personal kind of home manor, if you like, and those are the main two blends of the land.
It's exactly as Max said it. And ultimately, it will be a community-driven landscape, right? Where you will not be stronger because you have land. On the opposite, you might have spent a lot of time on your land instead of going out and being the strongest. I don't know, depending on what you want to do with your land. But you will have maybe a certain different kind of influence in the community. But I just love the idea of this landscape and how it is controlled and I don't know, immersed by the players, right?
Yeah, and you already I think land is super interesting. Like I mentioned, different roles as players. You can be a healer, a gatherer, a tank, a guild leader. As a landowner, a new role comes into play. Like you can be a facilitator, a tavern host,
Exactly.
whatever. Maybe you will just plant some trees and make sure that everybody can chop wood. I don't know.
Exactly this, yes.
Yes, exactly.
I think that's super interesting, because it makes Embersword not only the classic MMO, but it can also be your Farmville or something along those lines. It can be something completely different than the MMO genre. You also have, if you guys are going to look for Embersword NFTs, you will find land on the Immutable marketplace. There's also badges. What are those badges?
Should I? Yeah, I'll start with that. So, badges accomplish a plethora of things. Some of them are obviously you'll get some tokens from owning that badge when those tokens are released. But I think from a community perspective, what is more important is that you have had access. We've already had some tests where only I like to call them community backers, like almost like a Kickstarter, but obviously like holders have had access to unique tests that other players in our community didn't have access to. So they've also generated unique access to some tests, to some abilities to give feedback. And then it's again about the bragging rights, right? It's something that can never be taken from you, that is about to show, I was one of the first ones who became a part of this community, who was part of the Ember Sword journey, and I have that badge.
Yeah, that's really cool. Like I kind of foresee like it's going to be like you're with the scouts, they have like the ribbon with all the badges for cooking and making people cross the road. And in Embersword, you will have one for participating early into the game. Maybe even one for killing Shauk. Who knows?
Exactly. Who knows?
So the Ultra Deep. We're going to enter the Ultra Deep in 15 days. Are you guys fully prepared? Like I saw a question from a community member who lives in. Let me see. He lived in Brazil. Where is that question? My guild is Brazilian. I live in Europe. From Isidorf.
Isidorf.
So if you are in different continents, can you still meet people from different continents, even though you're on the South American server? Can you still meet people from Europe, or is that a no-go? The Americas only playing with Americas and Europe only with Europe?
In this case, I don't know if I'm lacking a bit. I can see there's something on my side. In this case, you will automatically be connected with the server that's closest to you. So you will be playing with other people from your region. But I will leave it up to. So I'll leave it up to Max to talk about the future of that, of course. But in this situation, you will be playing with other people from your region. If you want the best ping.
Yeah, so for now we have some restrictions, guys, obviously, and we of course understand that you could be having, as Isidorf has, that like guild is in Brazil and he's in Europe, and we will deal with this obviously, because for MMOs, I believe the most important part is that you can play with your friends or with your guild mates, and otherwise it's just making it a little bit not cool.
Yeah, I just wanted to quickly elaborate. You can play together. You will suffer a bit on your ping, which will make Shauk harder. But I mean, if you're super good,
or if you just position very well as a healer,
yeah, that's nice.
So a question from Alex Mamulian. What led to the decision to use polygon mesh modeling for your graphics?
I believe that both of us cannot properly answer this question. That's obviously for the engineering guys. But as far as I know, we also have some limitations with Web3, right? And we want this game to be run as fast as possible, so you guys don't have like latency. And again, I might be talking like a little bit not a very correct things here, but as far as I remember, that's exactly our limitations.
Yeah, I mean, of course, you are limited by the fact that you want to be accessible from any browser, from everywhere in the world on any device. So that kind of puts a you need to develop a one size fits all versus an experience tailored to one specific device.
I actually think if you're very curious about this, and especially about art and modeling and limitations when building and running this in a browser, you should go and this might be a bit of a sellout, but the last dev stream we did was with a 3D artist who specifically talked about this, talked about the limitations in browser and why we do make the choices we do in art. So you should go and check that out if you're curious about that.
Yeah, awesome. Like I'm honestly, like, I'm super hyped. That weekend. I mean, when you have kids, Thor, who are like, you don't play that many games anymore.
No,
so
you don't.
That's very
it's
sad.
like there's this passion burning on the inside that wants to play games, and I'm going to, at least I'm not going to play the 3 full days. That will be impossible. I mean, my daughter needs to play tennis, so but I'm going to dedicate at least one evening to dive into the Ultra Deep and see if I can beat Shauk. And yeah,
I hope you get a good
one
party. Yeah, yeah. I hope you get a good party.
yeah, I will probably need it.
And if you
Awesome.
will have multiple rounds, just try different play styles, because we really try to make them standing different and feeling different.
Awesome. Any additional, like, final tips for those who are going to venture into the Ultra Deep?
Most important part, guys, potions. Remember about potions. We tried to give potions leverage that basically your weapon cannot do, or just doubles the damage or doubles the healing out of that. So please just look at these small tiny bottles. They might be out of help,
Awesome.
Yeah, and I would say diversify, especially if it's your first runs. Don't pick the same gear, all of you. I mean, it could be fun, but in the first runs, if you really want to play as a party, diversify a little bit, help each other, as you said, Robert. Play your roles, help each other, and then look for those patterns and those bosses, so you can learn, right?
Yeah, curious. Like I haven't had my MMO hunger itched. How do you say that? No, I still have that itch for MMOs.
Yeah.
I got a bit tired of World of Warcraft because of the requirements that were there with every Wednesday guild night. Yeah, that really didn't fit my agenda anymore. But I'm still super curious about the genre, and I'm super excited what you guys are building. So sign me up, or at least I am already signed up. But no, everybody watching, like, go to embersword.com, sign up for this playtest. It will come in a little bit more than 2 weeks. And for now, Thor and Max, thank you guys very much. It was an absolute pleasure having you guys here. And yeah, once again, I'm super excited, and I can't wait to give Shauk a taste of my own medicine.
That's the spirit.
Thank you very much for this. Really enjoyed it. See you
Thank
guys.
you so much.
See you on the playtest.
See you in the playtest. And as a closing, let's end with the Ultra Deep playtest trailer once again. Everybody, thank you for watching, and see you next time.